you're a manufacturer, dealer, or distributor in the following industries: agricultural equipment, materials handling, construction machinery, power generation, commercial and retread tires, transport refrigeration.
Yeah, enough with that. What's poppin'? Worcester, America, the entire Wizard. Today is Wednesday, July 13th. Thank you for tuning in and logging on. Welcome to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock shadow. If you're not familiar, please get familiar. It is your co-host, Truth It, aka Will of God, and we are in the building. Yes, we are. I am in a great mood. You know why? Because I love. And if you love, you are good. Yeah, I don't know what that means either, but hey, it sounds good. You know, I've been, hey, what's going on? Shout outs to Adrian. Shout outs to Rich for tuning in. Thank you both for tuning in and logging on. I would like to start off by saying I have been observing a lot. I've been observing a lot of people, how they behave, how they react with the things that are going on. And I am sure that the way to fix this is the way to go. And the way to fix this and the way to go is by doing nothing other than loving. Yes. I mean, the answer was in front of me the entire time. I was like, man, how do we approach the problems that are going on? How are we approaching all this stuff? And the love coach is just like, yes, you just love. Love wins. And I'm like, you know, it's not time for relationship advice, love doctor. But you know, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like, I mean, like, how do we deal with injustice? How do we deal with all this stuff? And he was just like, yes, injustice, yes, hatred, yes. I know how to fix all of those things, yes. How you fix those things is with love. And you know what? I am tired of trying to have verbal agreements or use the verbals to try to get people to understand in their heart of hearts that love is the answer. But listen, love is the answer, period, of all problems. You know how I came up with that? I'd like to give a shout out to the free hugs guy. So the free hugs guy was the guy walking around when people are protesting and everything, and he just says, look, man, I want a hug. He's kind of annoying, like, you know, panhandlers. And yes, panhandlers are annoying. I said it. But instead of asking them for anything, instead of saying, yeah, let's get angry, he says, I want a hug. Give me a hug. I love, and I'm a hugger too, so I don't know. I'm a hugger, and I've been around the love coach, and I did not know the answer is love. Yes. The answer to all the problems is love. Yes. How is love the answer to all the problems? I'm going to talk about that today. Talk about how love is the answer to all the problems. Well, another thing I'm going to talk about today, yes, shout outs to Adrian. Jesus is the answer. Yes, he is, because God is love. It says it in the Bible. It said it in the Bible before any of us was born, so you can try to say, oh, people are just making... No, we ain't making this up. Love is the answer. Jesus is the answer. Before you non-believers, I want to show you how love is the answer today on the 5 o'clock shadow, the best online radio show, period. Love conquers all. Yes, it does. Sometimes I get in a mood to want to preach. To just start shaking my soul. Just got to get in it. Ha! You might hear some hatting. If you hear any hatting, I'm not choking. I'm just telling the truth. First of all, I like to give a shout out to Mass Appeal Radio, the boss Chantel. If it wasn't for Mass Appeal giving me a chance, and if it wasn't for Chantel, the first time I walked up into the Flavor 105 radio station, and she was the host, and they interviewed me. The first thing I said was, so is this going to be my chair forever? And guess what? It happened. I was part of the radio show. Used to rock with her every Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. And then, you know, as bosses do, bosses moved on. But you know what? There was so much love there that, you know, she was like, look, man, you know, you got to come with me. You got to do your thing, and opened another door for me. So guess where I'm at right now? On my own show. That's love. And that's what we all need. At the end of the day, all of this trying to out-argue people, all this trying to figure out who's right. Oh, I'm right because I can out-argue you, and I can take something you said and turn it and make you look foolish with it. That don't work. Love works. You want to know how I know love works? Just watch. Just Google some of these guys' free hug videos. Right? I mean, he's hugging dudes in cowboy hats and button-up shirts and big old buckles with buffaloes on the front of the buckle and cowboy boots. I mean, he's hugging them, and all forms of guards that you put up. You know, like how if you meet a person for the first time, you put up a guard. It is not always a big guard, but like, for example, I'm a guy. So, you know, when I meet another guy, especially if he's taller than me or something, I size him up. I'm like, if I hit this dude in the throat and slam him, he ain't got a chance. But still on the outside, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. But if he just like came to me and wanted to give me a hug, I wouldn't do all that stuff. I'd be like, this is a cool guy. In the same way, this is all we need. And when I say this is all we need, this is all we need. Yes, shout outs to Rich. The Bible does say to love one another. And this is another thing I want to talk about today. We do not listen when we are told something in our faces that is the correct answer. So, for example, it's like one of the things like, I remember my mama used to warn me, like, don't do this or don't do that, or like, don't put personal business on Facebook. And I'd be like, well, you know, she don't know nothing about no Facebook. She barely knew where the arrow keys on the keyboard was. So what does she know? And then she'd be like, I heard you put something on Facebook. Don't put your business on Facebook. And I used to ignore her. Then I talked about this one time on Facebook that I had mud butt. And now a lot of people refer to me as Mr. Mudbutt. Now, if I would have listened to my mom, that part of me might have been hidden forever. But now people know that I got mud butt. And I walk around with my pants sagging a little bit. So every time I'm walking by someone and someone turns around and look, I got to look back at them and say, hey, are you trying to check to see if I got mud butt right now? It is good to listen when people are telling you something. It is imperative to listen when people are telling you something. You have to listen. You gotta listen. You gotta listen. What happens when you don't listen to people? Then when things happen, and you fall on your face, the first thing they say is, you should have listened. You old fish-eyed fool, you should have listened. And you know what you say to yourself? Yeah, you're right, I should have listened. But you gotta listen, man. Love is the answer. It is so crazy to me. Because this free hugs guy, he was in like all these places where they're protesting, right? He goes up to some of the people in Atlanta, even Ferguson, even. He's been in all these places, and all he's doing is asking for hugs. And you know what I saw? I saw police officers who had serious, angry looks on their faces, ended up smiling, hugging, and then actually even wanting to get to know the guy, having conversation with him. Let me say, I understand the plight of Black Lives Matter. I understand the frustration of what it feels like when you're not being heard. And I understand how it could get to the point where it drives someone crazy. But at the end of the day, if you really want someone to hear you, listen to me now. If you need someone to hear you, love them until they have no choice. If you love them, no matter how tough they try to act, no matter how hard their heart is, it won't work. You got to love them. But so this is kind of like a twofold thing. This is, we need to love each other. That'll fix all of America's problems. See, your boy Truth It, we already got America fixed. America's already all set. Love. That's how we're going to fix it. It sounds kind of cliche, sounds kind of corny, but it's the truth. It's the only thing that I've seen work. I've seen protests. I've seen shooting of police officers. I've seen rioting. I've seen blocking traffic. I've seen arguing. I've seen yelling. I've seen suicides. Love is the only thing where I've seen actually make a change. For the better. You want freedom? Love somebody. Period. And what I ask to y'all, my listeners and my friends out there that are listening, if I forget this, if I get in, because I get in my feelings a lot, it happens. If I get in my feelings and I'm not thinking correctly, just remind me that you have to love. Love is the only thing that works. Free hugs is the only thing that works. You know what I was going to play today? A clip. While I was doing my prep work, I got a clip ready where I was going to play a clip of a woman talking about the true numbers of African Americans who get arrested as opposed to white people, and the true number of African Americans who get shot, black people who get shot, compared to their white counterparts. And you know what? Let me go right here on my little handy dandy MacBook Air and delete that now. I ain't gonna play it. Nope, sorry, Rich, I'm not gonna play it. You know why? Because there's no love in that. What is playing numbers and stats that say, oh, we are getting killed more than you guys, going to change? Nothing. It's not going to play nothing. It's not going to change anything. But guess what? If I go to those people, the same ones who are afraid of me and I'm afraid of them, and I show them love and I show them that I appreciate them and I show them that I care about them, guess what happens? They will start to say, when they see someone who looks like me, they'll start to think, this might be a good one. This might be a nice guy. I know a lot of nice guys that are loving and kind in their hearts. But guess what they're going to say if I have a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on? It kind of reminds me of if you do something, if you're in the right and then you do go way overboard, that puts you in the wrong. And I'm not saying Black Lives Matter is wrong for feeling a certain way. But certain ways they go about it, like I know one guy, Frederick Douglass. He said the best way to make change is agitation, agitation, agitation. Frederick Douglass said, agitate, agitate, agitate. Frederick Douglass was a brilliant man. He fought hard for slavery, but Frederick Douglass was downright wrong. Yeah, I said it. The way you get people to hear you, to speak to your pain that you're going through, to understand you, is to love. Love. That's the only way it's going to work. I really, really am starting to learn that arguing with people on Facebook and pushing them away does nothing. But if I smile and I love them and I hug them, it changes. You can disarm. I know, like, they have this thing called the disarm technique. And the disarm technique is when you're about to argue with someone, if you give them that one thing that they're using to get ready to go in on you, you disarm them and they don't attack you. So, for example, if my wife comes home and she sees that the house is a mess and she's ready to go in on me because I didn't help clean, first thing she says when she comes to the room, if I'm like, listen, you're right. I messed up. Let me go start cleaning right now. You're absolutely right. I'm foolish. Let me go clean. As a matter of fact, how was your day? Sit down. Talk to me about how your day was while I clean and cook. Guess what happens? No fights. No hate. Now, I could do it like how people are doing it in the world today, and I could say, well, yeah, I didn't clean, but when's the last time you gave me some? Or I didn't clean, but when's the last time you took me out we went out to dinner, or we went out and spent time with each other? I love you back, Valerie. That's right, Brian. Love is the key. Winning arguments is only good for that argument. Winning arguments don't change nothing. Working together changes something. So, last week I did start my war on hate, and then I kind of fell into the trap. I think what I did was I tried to go to both sides of the, with those who are like for social justice, and then those on the side of police justice and order. I kind of went to both of them, and they both got me so frustrated that I was like, you know what, I can't stand any of y'all. And kind of drove me a little nuts. Because no one was willing to meet in the middle. But I honestly think the answer is just to love. That's what we have to do. And I pledge, and like I said, if I mess up, I want y'all to hold a brother accountable. Hold Truth accountable. If I put something on Facebook and I'm arguing with someone, even if I'm right, like I usually am, with my brilliant self, just say, hey, Will, where's the love in that? And if I still am in my feelings, you might have to say, hey, just, why don't you take a break? Think about the free hugs guy, and think about how Jesus would handle it, and then come back. And hopefully, I pray that my mind's in the right state where I could take that constructively, get better at it, and then come back and show y'all some love, because that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. What happened at this basketball game the other day at the Lynx, the WNBA team, they wore a t-shirt saying Black Lives Matter, and they named the two people that were unfortunately killed, and they said change starts with us. And police officers got really angry and they walked out. You know why? Because they couldn't see past the Black Lives Matter. They didn't even realize the shirt said change starts with us, because that is the truth. Change does start with us. But if you're not willing to be loving, then it's going to invoke a lot of hate like that. And those officers, by the way, were wrong for walking out, because someone's life could have been in danger, and they had a responsibility to protect and serve. But if I want to argue with someone and say, yeah, they were wrong, ha ha ha, does that make the person I'm arguing with say, oh, okay, it's time to love, you're right, so let's go say shame on and poo-poo on police. You don't poo-poo on police. Someone break into my house, I don't want to call the people I poo-pooed on. I need help. At night, when I'm scared, if I hear a weird noise, and I know I'm the man of the house, and I'm the big man of the house, and I'm not no small guy, and I know I got to protect my wife, I got to protect my children, I got to protect my dogs. I do the manly thing in the household. I get up and I say, Joy, wake up. Go check to see what that noise was. And guess what happens? If Joy doesn't come back in 2 minutes, I got to call the police. Now imagine they come to try to save me and they see Black Lives Matter stuff all over the place. And then they say, you know what? You got this. But if they remember me as that guy who, showed support and showed them love and said, we're all people and we all have stresses and issues and things that we deal with. So I may not agree with everything you guys do, but I do appreciate the fact of what you're supposed to do. Let's get to that. Because I don't know how many criminals that break in the house that Joy can fight off. She might get 1 or 2. But what if 3 people break into my house? I ain't going out there. So the police are the second line of defense for me. If Joy doesn't handle it, I don't know what else to do. So you have to love. Love your wives, because who else is going to protect the house? I hope that's the message you got out of that. Bible says love your neighbor. Yeah, I love them. They're all right. They cool. So I really, really hope that you guys out there And I want to give a shout out to everybody who's listening right now. I really, really appreciate your support. I appreciate all those of you guys on massappealradio.com, the TuneIn Radio app. The more you guys log on and join and talk and everything, the more chance I have to actually, make money. This is not for free. Like cameras that I'm using and lights and microphones and stuff. This all stuff costs money. So I appreciate the support. All I ask is you just tune in and log on. Get some sponsors up in here. So I appreciate that. Show a brother some love. But yes, I agree. Love is the key. It's the only way. Y'all can get all these cool ways to try to finagle and oh, we got their attention now and stuff like that. But here's the problem. This is what I need. I need America to listen to me. I need all my listeners out there right now, and I appreciate each and every one of you, but it starts with us. I need each and every one of you to go out and speak to other people and tell them, like, listen, man, love is the answer. Because it really is. Go watch, go to YouTube and type in the free hugs. And look at the faces on these people that this guy, look at some of the faces before he hugs them and look at their faces after. Look at how much just something as simple as a hug can change a person. Will there still be problems in the world? Yes. Will there still be wrongs? Yes. We are imperfect people, and imperfections are going to happen. But there will not be this much hate. There will not be this much injustice. There will not be this much dissension if we learn to love a little more. And that is fact. That's not even an opinion. That's not even like, oh, I have a cool suggestion. I have this hypothesis that we can try out. No. No, 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 no. We have to learn to love. I mean, this guy, he did it at a Donald Trump rally where, and the guy is black, by the way. He did this at a Donald Trump rally where, like, black people are looked at as the enemy. Like, they point them out at Donald Trump rallies, the old, the rallies that they used to have. Point them out and be like, look, you, what? Like, keep an eye on him. And instead of standing up, yelling, and trying to be disruptive and making the hearts of those people even harder against you, he gave hugs. And guess what? People got the message and they were a lot happier. So when you go to YouTube, just type in free hugs. The first thing that's going to pop up is Donald Trump rally free hugs versus Bernie Sanders rally free hugs. And all the people react the same. When you make it known that you are against someone, it gets them all, like, as soon as they see you coming, they're like, oh, Lord. Oh, like they're punch this guy in his mouth. Oh, I can't stand him. But love always wins. So I want to encourage you guys to get America to listen. Because America has a stubborn problem, by the way. We as Americans are so stubborn. We don't want to listen to nobody. Don't want to take, if you take a suggestion, it has to be only from someone who's a higher class than you, and even then you don't want to take those suggestions. Like when someone says, hey, you know what I think? I think you should do ABC. And I'm like, man, like for example, there was this, a couple years ago, this guy, shout out to Adrian, he gave me advice on my kids, right? And he don't have no kids. I was like, who in the hell is this childless, barren man to tell me about my kids? And guess what? He was 100% right. But I was so prideful into his status as a parent that I did not hear the message. And America has that problem now. We don't want to listen to anybody. It's kind of what happened in Dallas, honestly. When someone feels like they're not getting heard, try to ignore a child for 5 minutes. They will lose it. They will get bent out of shape. They get angry. It happened, but they will get angry. Then if you keep ignoring them, it'll get from, come on, mommy, mommy, mommy. Then you notice their voice will get louder. Mommy, mommy, mommy. Then it might get a little more raspier, it might get a little more powerful. Mommy, mommy, mom, mom. And then what happens? They like explode. I've seen kids explode before. Like Skittles pop out of their head everywhere. Skittles everywhere. And then they're just pounding the floor, kicking and gone crazy. Skittles. You try to go pick them up, you trip on the Skittles. When people feel like they're not being heard, it gets frustrated. They get frustrated, and then they go crazy. You don't have to agree with everything they say to hear them. So we have to listen. As Americans, we have to listen. And this is not only for citizens of America, this is definitely for our government. Yes, President. Yes, Obama. Yes, future President, either Trump or Hillary. We have to learn to listen. Even other countries. It was just in the news the other day that the U.S. sanctioned North Korea's assets in America. I don't even know how that works. But let me make sure I get the information 100% correct, because we at the 5 o'clock shadow get things 100% correct. South Korea, they prepare a missile defense system. This was just in the news today. They prepared a missile defense system because they fear North Korea is going to attack soon. Right? So if North Korea is going to attack, guess what we're doing as Americans? Nothing. You know why we're doing nothing? Because they've said they're going to attack last year, and we ignored them. They're not going to attack. They came out in the news and said, we have a missile that can reach the coast of California. They don't have that. We got atomic bombs. Whatever. We're not paying attention to them. We want to be left alone. Whatever they're saying. Whatever. We don't care. And it's like, now South Korea is preparing for a possible attack. If we got attacked, like, how could we not be prepared for one? We've been warned about it so many times. But sometimes we get so arrogant as a nation that we don't care. So we have to be willing to listen. And part of loving others is being willing to listen to them. It happens all the time in my house. I got like 7 to 8. I don't even know how many. I got so many kids. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, look, we got someone sleeping over. Like, no, they live here. Wait, what? And, so when you go through a day with like 8 kids, 6 or 7 kids, you're not going to be able to fully hear each one of them every single day. 6, 5 girls, 1 boy. Thank you, Tara. See, look at it. People know how many kids I got better than I do. But I know for a fact I cannot hear every single one of them every day. So what happens, I notice, is that in each of their own ways, they will show frustrations and show out in a different way. So like my niece, right? This is just a couple days ago. My niece. I noticed that she was sad, but I was just happy because she was quiet. Oh yeah, 7. That's right. Yeah, I know. I thought I had more than 6. Yeah, I got 7. But so the day after, She's sad, you know, I'm taking him to camp, and she's just sad again, looks really somber. And still, I did nothing about it. Then she starts crying out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey, what's wrong? And she says, I don't know. But you know what? Maybe if I would have addressed it a couple days ago, she wouldn't have got that hurt to that point. So now what am I doing? I'm like, okay, she's hurt. I gotta take her to like McDonald's or something. I gotta take her out. I gotta do something with just me and her. And guess what happened when I told her that I was taking her somewhere just me and her because she's hurt? The next one said, oh, can I go too? And I said, no, I need to work on this one. So now I didn't hear this one. Nobody said loving is easy. Loving is not easy. It is hard work. It's a lot of things about it. There's a lot of things to it. But if you really want to see things change in this country, you need to begin to find ways to love. Just find 5 people. Find 5 people either in your life or out your life. Either you know them, you don't love them, I don't care. Find 5 people and give them a hug. By the end of this week. 5 random people, whether you know them or not, give them a hug by the end of this week. Why? When they ask why you give me a hug, just say, just because. Just because. Men, don't do anything creepy. I don't want y'all to get locked up over my advice. But I want you to give someone a hug. 5 people. 5 different people a hug this week. And see how much better that makes you feel and it makes them feel. Yeah, the girls do have Big Sisters. It's not the Big Sister program. It's something else. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, they do meet with someone and get taken out. That's right. You stop by my house, everybody's getting you get a hug from everybody. But I want you to try that. I really, really want you to try that. I want you to try to go out and give 5 people a hug. If you don't know 5 people who you really feel comfortable hugging, that is a sign of today's society. We are so standoffish and so against each other and so in competition that we barely know 5 people that we can give a hug to right now that aren't family members. But I bet you can name 5 people who you don't like off the top of my head. Oh yeah, this one, Ron, from down the street. This one, Kevin, and Chris. Oh yeah, can't forget Chris. Like you could name that quick. This is what needs to happen on the war on hate. Just turtles, huh? Someone just hates turtles. Well, hey, I ain't mad at you for that. But we talking love right now. We can't get into positive hate. We talking about positive love. So I challenge you. Find 5 people. 6 if you're outgoing. 10 if you're really the man or the woman. And give them a hug this week. That are not family members. That people that even if you don't necessarily care all the way about, say I can start to care about this person. Just do it and try it. Try it. And also go to youtube.com, Google free hugs. Go to youtube.com, search free hugs, watch some of the videos. And watch some of the attitudes. Like really pay attention to the body language and pay attention to the people's spirits as they're giving each other hugs. Like how like it seems so, how it eliminates so much tense, so much hatred, and then you'll realize like arguing with people all day ain't gonna work. I bought a crackhead at $1 meal, a dollar something at McDonald's. Oh, a number 1 of Mickey the other day. Yep, see? And if you would have sat and talked to him, maybe that might have changed or improved. I don't know what your attitude is towards him now, but maybe that might have changed and improved your attitude towards homeless people and crackheads. Because when you just say crackhead or homeless person, you automatically yeah, and it does. It makes you feel good inside. But when you think of a crackhead or a homeless person, the average person automatically thinks of something annoying, like they're strung out. Oh, they're gonna break into my house and steal all my stuff. Make sure the cars are locked. Oh, a homeless person. Oh, they came into your house? Did you put something like a plastic to cover the couch cushion? Because they are dirty. Got to get better, man. We do. Like, listen, like us getting to the point where we about to go to war, a civil war with each other, when the answer is just hugs and love. It's crazy. It's insane. We're better than that. We are better than that. Don't know if she was a crackhead, but she does live in the whorehouse across the street. Well, good save, good save. We could do it, man. We could love people enough to where things can look really a lot better for us. But we also have to listen when people are telling us stuff. We got North Korea telling us that they're gonna bomb us. That what we did was an act of war. Like, what do we do? Like, when I read that America sanctioned and froze some of their assets, I was like, look, I didn't do that. But they don't care. They want to bomb everybody now. Yep, it is. It's about respecting one another's differences and views. And it's even actually deeper than that. It's respecting, yes, it is respecting their views, but it's also looking to their pain. So if someone is angry and they're pacing back and forth, and I'm like, so what are you mad about? And they say, man, I'm mad about them not making Twinkies anymore. Instead of me insulting them and trying to go at them about it, like, speak to their pain. Speak to what's making them upset. If you don't have to agree with Black Lives Matter. You don't have to agree with Blue Lives Matter. You don't have to agree with anything. But if you speak to their pain, that's the way you get things accomplished. That's the way you get things to the point where reconciliation can start. That's what you really need. You have to be willing to look past your personal differences and look to get them to understand, because that's the main goal. The main goal is one of the main reasons of war is when you're like, they don't understand what I'm trying to say. They have something that I want. They need to be destroyed. And I'm saying they don't have to get there yet. I really don't think we have to get there. I think if we speak to people's pain and at least have an understanding of their pain first, then you could talk about, once you get them to that point where you when you respect their pain, when you are more accepting of how they're feeling, when you're more accepting of the things that they're going through, guess what? They'll be able to listen to you. So one of the things about that free hugs guy when he was hugging everybody was the officers that were there during a protest were stopping and wanted to talk to them, and they were smiling. They were not afraid. Listen, when a black person gets shot, officer always says, "I'm afraid." When the guy was giving them the hugs and everything, there was no fear. Oh, well, we shouldn't have to do that for them not to kill us. You're right. We shouldn't have to do that for them not to kill us. But things are so far gone that we have to find ways to reconcile and heal. So am I saying every time you see someone, you got to do a cartwheel and a tap dance to make it and devalue yourself? No. But I'm saying you can show a little bit of love. It won't kill you. And try to get past some of these things. That's the only thing that's going to work. More people getting shot, more police officers getting shot, all that stuff sounds good, but it ain't going to work. What is going to work is love. Going to take a break. And I will be back on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock shadow. If you're not familiar, and if I can reach this camera, please get familiar.